Hello, I'm Shannon Skinner, and welcome to another episode of Extraordinary Women TV. Welcome back to Extraordinary Women TV. I'm Shannon Skinner. My next guest is a fundraiser for the John Howard Society of Toronto, who is heading up a unique program that is taking yoga and meditation into Canadian prisons. Joining me in the studio is Whitney Wilson. Well, Whitney, welcome to the show.
Thank you so much for having me. It's an honor.
It's a lovely name, Whitney.
Oh, thank you. My family likes alliteration.
Now, you have been working with the John Howard Society for a while as a social worker. Prior to that, you were working in events, I believe?
Yes, events and sales primarily, and then I took a big career turn down the line.
Okay, so your leap from events, sales and marketing, into social work, what led you to make that jump?
It's actually been somewhat serendipitous. I mean, it was my passion throughout all of my life to work with men, incarcerated men, or men in conflict with the law. But during my time at the John Howard Society, paired with my sales experience and my event planning experience, has ended me up as a fundraiser for the John Howard Society, and I'm loving every moment of it.
What do you love about it?
I really love just speaking to people about something that I'm really passionate about. It's great to wake up every day and be really heart happy going to work, and you can be really effective when you can speak passionately and honestly about what you love to do.
So do you feel you're making a difference in the lives of these men who perhaps need that extra helping hand?
I suppose I don't think of it like that often. I love the story of the starfish on the beach when a man saw another man walking down the beach and he was throwing the starfish in, and he said, "You're never going to make a difference." He said, "Well, I made a difference to that starfish." So you don't always get to see the effect you have, but it's definitely a motivator for me every day.
So one of the things that you're very busy with is this program that's taking yoga and meditation into, of all places, Canadian prisons. So let's talk about that.
It's actually such an amazing fit for us and for the men that are incarcerated. The program was begun in the early 2000s by Sister Elaine McInnes. She's a nun who traveled to Japan and spent many years there becoming a Zen master. And
a nun becoming a Zen master.
Right, I know.
Love it.
She's an incredible, incredible woman, speaking of extraordinary women. And she actually went on to teach yoga and meditation in a Philippine prison. And she taught these men who had been tortured, and some of them were political activists, and she began to teach them meditation and yoga. And miraculous things happened. I mean, men who spent all night awake because they didn't want to close their eyes were spending full hours meditating. And she saw them transform, and when she came to Canada to bring this program here, she began to do it in Canadian prisons as well. And we've seen those transformations, and they've been incredible.
Well, I mean, have you been into one of the prisons? Have you taken prisoners through the program?
I actually don't teach the classes, unfortunately. But we have a wonderful coordinator who does, and over 100 volunteers in over 28 institutions we teach at. But I've been in the institutions, and it's a hard place to be. It's not a place that really one wants to spend a lot of time thinking about their mistakes. And so we hope that by bringing this program in, it rehabilitates a lot of the people that have had to spend some time there.
Oh, you're a young woman. Do you ever, a young, attractive woman?
Thank you.
Do you ever, I mean, do you ever fear for your safety working with men who are incarcerated or had been incarcerated and perhaps have had some pretty serious charges that they faced?
Sure. I mean, I get that question a lot just from friends and family members who maybe wonder what I'm doing, but not at all. I mean, I'm a firm believer that everyone deserves a second chance. And a lot of the people that enter into the system have had a really, really tough life, and they deserve a second chance, and they deserve to have someone give them the benefit of the doubt that they want to change. And I find that when you go in with an open heart and an open mind, then you'll be surprised on how many people you meet that are just like your neighbors and your families. And more than 75% of the people that are currently incarcerated are in for drug addictions and petty crimes and not the violent things that we often think of when we think of jails and prison.
I mean, it must be quite a challenge, I would imagine, to get some of these men who've, have had some, hard lives, to get them to buy into yoga and meditation.
Absolutely. And our one of our current yoga teachers actually made a comment about how funny it can be to sit in a room with a lot of guys who are very tough guys with tattoos and muscles and see them just kind of relax and let go and feel the power of the meditation. We get a lot of letters from men who have done the program and just talking about how much it's affected their lives. You can do meditation and yoga in a very small space, and they're living in a small space, and so they really appreciate those tools and take them back into their lives, and some of them have even left the institutions and gone on to be regular practitioners.
Can you give us an example of someone whose life changed, a prisoner whose life changed through your program?
We've had a couple people actually, both in England where the Phoenix Trust Fund is and here, that have left and gone on to become yoga teachers and really been affected by the peacefulness and what they've learned through yoga. And I think that that's a great ending for us to see people who went in without a job or with addictions and with a tough life and came out and were able to give back the same thing that Sister Elaine was able to give them and really change their life, turn it around. That's what they're for, right?
And she's still living?
She's still living.
Here in Toronto? She's here in Toronto?
Yes. Sister Elaine lives in a convent in Toronto. She's approaching her 90th birthday this March, and she still corresponds with the men that write her. She's been an integral part of us joining forces with Freeing the Human Spirit. We've kind of have a nice marriage now, and she's passed her legacy and torch to us, and it's my intention to do everything to honor that legacy.
And so your job then is primarily fundraising.
Yes.
Really, to make this program happen, really. So what do you do in your sort of, when you're fundraising, what is it that you're actually doing?
Well, for starters, with Freeing the Human Spirit, Sister Elaine has done a fantastic job of fundraising within her community. And her community has a lot of religious groups and a lot of people even that have been nuns with her, and that's been a fantastic source of income for the charity thus far. So
when you're not doing this work, what are you doing? What do you do with your time?
I'm also a contributing editor for a magazine, Eligible Magazine, which gears towards young eligible people, and I write about different places to go on a first date, but mostly I'm driven a lot by my career. I find a lot of satisfaction in it, so I try to be as busy as possible.
What does the John Howard Society do?
Works with men who have been in conflict with the law, and we're a nonprofit, and we provide social services for people that are currently in the institutions as well as when they are released from an institution. So we provide pre-employment, anger management, substance abuse help, definitely housing, and we've done a lot of research as well to see how these programs can play a part in rehabilitating someone and really changing the course of their lives. So that is the major things, but we also have just drop-ins. We've people going into the institutions to get clothing and provide the kind of counseling that they require.
Do you love what you do?
I love what I do. Yeah, I wake up every day and I'm really grateful for all of the places I've been before this, but I've just never been happier in my life waking up and going to work and really making changes.
So if somebody wanted to follow the same or similar path of social work and working within a society like the John Howard Society, what advice would you have for them?
First, I would say congratulations and look forward to a really rewarding career, but it's difficult, especially now leaving school and finding a job that suits your education. The one thing that I've seen over and over again is volunteer work. Volunteer work is an incredible, rewarding experience. You can try different things. It's almost like jumping around in careers, but you get to kind of taste all the ice cream before you make your decision, and you really get to showcase your skills to employers. And I think that a lot of places like the John Howard Society feel more comfortable trusting and hiring people that they've already met. So if you're really passionate about doing it, volunteer. And we're always accepting volunteers for teachers in the institutions as well. So if that's something that anyone was interested, they could contact us and we would hook them up with the appropriate institution.
What keeps you up at night?
Wow. I am up all night always. My brain is always going. Just thinking of new ways to express my passion to donors and help them see how with just a little bit of money they can really make a huge impact on someone's life, really change the course of it. And sometimes that's in the, it produces itself in an event or in something where we can go talk to people or talk to students in criminology or talk to yoga teachers. We were at Yoga Palooza just a couple weekends ago. Stuff like that really keeps me up at night thinking about how we can do better and do more to really keep this program afloat.
So Whitney, it's time for my Good to Know Minute, and I know you got a good success tip.
I would have to say a tip that was given to me from my father, and that is the hard thing is the right thing to do. I work in a lot of ethics and blurry lines sometimes, and I think definitely that when you do the right thing, which is often the hard thing, success will always follow.
And that's good to know. Well, Whitney, thank you so much for being here today, and I wish you all the best.
Thank you so much.
Well, to find out more about Extraordinary Women TV, my guests, and to watch past episodes, visit extraordinarywomentv.com. And to keep the conversation going, join me on Twitter at Shannon_Skinner for an empowering stream of Extraordinary Women TV updates. On Facebook, connect with us at Extraordinary Women TV. Well, thank you for joining me today. I'm Shannon Skinner. Until next time.